Once again, we're staying in our reusing content.dwg file. In the previous video, we looked at how we redefined our block, our lounge chair block, this block right here. What we're going to look at now is another way of redefining it, but more importantly, another way of redefining it so that we have a separate drawing of our redefined block that we can then insert into any other drawing. It's not restrained to this particular reusing content.dwg file. It's a really cool command in AutoCAD called WBLOCK. Now, if I go to the Insert tab on the ribbon and just click here under Create Block in the Block Definition panel, right block is the WBLOCK command there, but you can just type WBLOCK as well rather than having to go find it. So I'm just going to hit Escape to lose that little drop-down menu there. And again, I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer to my little funky lounge chair block. Now, WBLOCK is really easy. You just type WBLOCK like so. And that's the way I get to it every time. Just WBLOCK and enter. And that will open up the right block dialog box. Now, the nice thing is I can go and select a block from my current DWG file, our reusing content.dwg. So I click on block here, and you'll recognize the list when you click on it. It looks similar to when we redefined the block in the previous video. Just scroll down the list. There's a lounge chair right there. Now, the good thing is because you're selecting an existing block, you don't have to worry about a base point or selecting objects. It knows that you're using these objects here. You specify a file name and path. Now, I've already preset my file name and path there. It's loungechair.dwg, and it's in a particular location. If you want to change that, you can just go here, click here, and you can go to a standard file selection dialog box and define a location. The units are going to be millimeters in this case. Again, millimeters drawing, millimeter blocks. I'm going to click on OK there, and you'll see a little flash in the top left corner of the screen. That's AutoCAD writing that block to its own drawing file. Now, if I go up to Open here now, you'll see that I have a lounge chair DWG file. Does that look familiar? That little preview does, doesn't it? So if I double click on that and just open that now, you'll see that I've got nothing. You need to double click on the wheel to zoom extents because it goes to the same coordinates in the new drawing as it is in your existing drawing. So there's our chair, and you'll see that it's all its original objects. Can you see the rectangles, polylines, etc.? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the Home tab now on the ribbon. And what I'm going to do is use that fillet command again. So fillet, select it there from the drop down on the modify panel, right click radius, and it remembers our 45 that we used previously. Excellent. Press enter, or if it's 0, just put 45 in there and then press enter. Right click again, and I'm going to go to polyline. And I'm going to select the seat of the chair this time and click like so. That makes that all nice and neat and tidy, but we've got some gaps up at the top. We want the back of the chair to come in and look good as well. Now you've got a choice here. You can click on the arc and use the grips and move them to the endpoints there, or the one that's really nice is the extend command. So we go to modify, click on this fly out here and select extend. Now in newer versions of AutoCAD, all I've got to do is hover over the end of the arc and click like that. But in older versions of AutoCAD, you'd have to right click, select your boundary edge, which in this case would be there, and then enter to confirm, and then extend it out like that. And then press enter to finish. It all looks really cool and neat and tidy. So what you can do now is you can save your loungechair.dwg file. Look, that's the name of the file at the top of the screen. So we come up here to save like that. Don't use save as because you need the same name in the DWG file as you do as the block reference. Otherwise, you can't redefine. So it's save, the little disk icon here. Click on save. That'll save it, and you'll see QSave appear on the command line. Once you've done that, you'll notice there's no asterisks on the lounge chair file tab. Come over the red cross, click and close it. Now, you're back in your reusing content.dwg file. But here's the really neat trick that I really like now, is I can go to insert like so, and I want to insert my block. So I can come down here and insert like that, and there's all my blocks there. So I can come down here and I find my lounge chair. Now, my lounge chair here would actually be a block that you'd have to find, right, in the list. But what I've got to do now is I've got to go and find it from somewhere else. So I want blocks from libraries, favorite blocks, or recent blocks. If I go to recent blocks, you'll see that I've got a lounge chair there and a lounge chair there. Now, what I can do is I can go and find a different block. It's very easy. I go to libraries here and I specify a different file or new folder location. Now, this is a different way of doing things in AutoCAD compared to the old way. So I can go here and click there, and I need to go and find my particular file. Now, I've got to jump through a few hoops here. I've got to go to my C drive, like so, CAD FM, current business, LinkedIn Learning, and there's my current content. And you'll see that I've got various files there. I want to go into that one, exercise files, and reusing content. There's my lounge chair. Now I'm using the DWG file there. So if I open that now, can you see there's the path, there's the lounge chair. Now it's gone to the DWG file, not the block in the reusing content.dwg file. So my options now here in the libraries are I can specify an insertion point, uniform scale, etc., etc. Now if I tick insertion point, that means I can pick the insertion point where it's going to go. But what I've done using the libraries tab in the new blocks palette is it's allowed me now to locate a different DWG file that represents the same block that I've got in my existing drawing. So if I click here, I can right click on it, insert and redefine, or I can just insert it, redefine only, etc. So there's some really nice options there. I can insert it, I can insert and redefine the block. I can redefine only, which means that the block reference lounge chair will be redefined, or I can insert and explode it, or I can copy it to my favorites tab as well, which is always useful. I'm going to go insert and redefine. And as I come in and click there, do you see what happens? There's my redefined one that I created from the DWG file, but here's the one that I created earlier, and it's redefined already, which is fantastic. So basically what I can do now is insert that lounge chair block, and it's got the redefinitions against it already because I've defined that path in my libraries tab in my blocks palette. It's really quick and easy, and the blocks palette in the newer versions of AutoCAD really does allow you to create blocks and redefine blocks really quickly and easily, especially if you're using that WBLOCK command as well. Remember though, this is for newer versions of AutoCAD. You might need to go back to one of the older courses in the library to see blocks used in a different way in an older version of AutoCAD as well.